Hey everybody, Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So we are going to ask the Lead Team Collective questions that you guys have in the community. We collect your questions throughout all the videos. If it's not, and then we kind of put them together into topics the best that we can, because there's a lot of one-off questions, which is amazing, and we really appreciate that. It's way more fun answering your questions. So the questions that we're going to be talking about today, the grouping of questions, have to do with out-of-body experiences, psychedelics. You guys have such amazing questions. Expanded awareness, and whether altered states of consciousness can provide genuine spiritual insight. Okay, so those are what the questions are related to. So some of the sample questions or some of the questions, does having an out-of-body experience help develop psychic abilities? Is it appropriate to intentionally seek an out-of-body experience? Can psychedelics such as, oh boy, I'm going to have to pronounce some words that I don't know how to pronounce, psilocybin, help awaken psychic abilities? So those are the first three questions that we're going to talk about. Okay, so I have a short prayer and then we will get asking. So I just wanted to mention, I saw a comment, thank you so much, you were very kind. I am in Wisconsin. Somebody was asking that they hope that I wasn't in the path of the storms in Wisconsin yesterday, and I am not. I was not. It didn't even rain where I live. And so my heart goes out to anybody who's in any storm. The fires, tornadoes. It looked like in Appleton, Wisconsin, near there, which is not where I live, but it looks like they got, some neighborhoods. So that's really, can't even imagine. When I was a kid, here's a quick story for you. When I was a kid, I don't know, I'm going to say I was maybe 13 or 14. And a friend and I we were riding our bikes from my house to her house. And I might have, probably 13, I'm going to say 12 or 13. And it was probably 6 blocks away. We were riding our bikes. And I looked up at the sky. Now, it was kind of a hazy day, but I looked up at the sky and all I saw was this line of debris flying like that. I didn't see any funnels. All I saw was this huge line of debris just moving like that. It was so weird. And I was like, what is that? Like it was over, way up that way. And so my friend and I get to the house and my brother, who is a teenager, so if I was like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, he was probably like 17 or 18 at the time. My brother comes over to the house where I was riding my bike to make sure I was okay. How sweet is that? Considering he was a teenager, he was probably responsible for me. Who knows? But anyways, a tornado had gone through our backyard, actually. It went down a street in our neighborhood, the trees like this. Only one roof was lifted off. It hit that. It literally went down a street like it was a car. The trees went down like that. And then it turned and went through the back of our yard. It took our picnic table. My windows were open in my bedroom. I had white furniture, just like, similar to that. And my room was just covered in dirt. I was like, oh my God, because my room was on the back of the house and because the windows were open, my room was just covered with dirt. But anyway, so a tornado went through our backyard. And so I didn't even see it. All I saw was like the debris flying. It was crazy. So anyways, that was really, I guess I've had a couple close calls where I live now. Not close calls, but like, they were close to us. With tornadoes. I would be not feeling good if I lived in the tornado belt, though. I don't know. For you guys who live there, like, kudos to you. That's very brave, if you ask me, if you live in the tornado belt, or in Iowa, like, Wisconsin doesn't get the kind of tornadoes that Iowa gets. And it's because it's so flat. That's why I think that's why there's Tornado Alley, because it's so flat. Nebraska, Omaha, not Wyoming. All the other states can get them, but I think it's because they're so flat. Yeah. Wisconsin is quite rolly. If you haven't been to Wisconsin, you might think of it being very flat. It's not. There might be certain sections of it that is, but it's, especially Southwest Wisconsin is very rolly. Okay, I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light, and ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, the lead team collective, and our community, so it is all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Good morning, lead team. How you doing today? Thank you so much for being here and partnering with us as always. And we're looking forward to our 30-day challenge partnering. It's coming up starting on August 1st. That's Saturday. Saturday is going to be a big day. We'll have our self-care video coming out for the month, what the lead team suggests for a stone for the month, their self-care message for us. And then we'll start I think I'm going to have to join our newsletter if you're not sure about it. We haven't sent out the directions yet. I don't know when. My sister and I have to talk, like tomorrow. Soon, like the 29th. And get the details already, and I'll do a video too. Okay, so you'll get all the information. If you join the newsletter, link in the description below, you will get the directions. Okay. I'll just have some paper handy and a journal. We do sell journals for it that are very specific, but you probably wouldn't get it on time unless you didn't mind starting a week later. So, okay, so lead team, we've got questions here about out-of-body experiences, psychedelics. I've got 3 personal questions from the community that we'll be asking today from community members. So, as always, lead team, if there's anything that's not in our highest and best, just refrain from answering. That would be amazing. They're saying yes. Okay, question number 1. Does having an out-of-body experience help develop psychic abilities? Yes. You often hear, does near-death experience help develop psychic abilities? Yes. In everyone? Yes. I could imagine it's like on a scale though, on a spectrum, everybody's, because we're all psychic. We all have the ability. If you don't even realize that you're following your intuition on a regular basis, a lot of that is probably coming from your guides or your higher self. So you just don't, it's not obvious to you, But I can imagine, I've heard a lot of people talk about near-death experiences and how they developed their psychic abilities after that. Yeah. The key is developed, not got. So not got. Like I said, we all have psychic abilities. We all have that ability because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So you just are given whatever we're given in terms of amnesia. We have amnesia to what our psychic abilities really are. At least that's what we've been talking about with these guys. So if that feels right to you, go with it. If it doesn't, that's totally okay too. Is it appropriate to intentionally seek an out-of-body experience? No. They're saying no. Now, I don't quite know what we mean here, like an out-of-body experience through drugs. Is that what we're talking about? So is that possible to have an out-of-body experience with drugs? Yes, so they're saying yes. And lead team, are you saying is it appropriate to intentionally seek an out-of-body experience through drugs? They're saying no. Is that just for people in this community, or like why? Maybe the word appropriate isn't the right way to ask. Intentionally. Is it inappropriate to intentionally seek an out-of-body experience? They're saying yes. So what do you guys think about that? Let's have a conversation about this why would they be saying it's not appropriate? If you're called to do it though, like if you're inspired to do it and you think that you're following your intuition, would you consider it inappropriate then? Wow, they're still saying yes. Okay. So you're just recommending we not do that. Is that basically the recommendation? Yes. Okay, so you're recommending that's not a good thing to do. Yes, unless it's given to you through something that was out of your control. Yes. Okay. Can psychedelics such as psilocybin, they know what word I'm talking about, but for you, I'm going to spell it Psilocybin. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. Does that psychedelic help awaken psychic abilities? Okay, they're saying no. Are you just saying no because you don't want us to try it? No. Okay. Does it awaken things outside of psychic abilities that people think is psychic ability? Yes. Oh. Well, let's talk vibration. Does it awaken lower vibration experiences? Yes. There you go. Okay. Does the Ouija board awaken lower vibration experiences? Yes. Does using a pendulum like you and I use, lead team, does that awaken lower? Well, no. Well, but why? What's the difference between that and a Ouija board? Is it intention? Yes. So a pendulum could awaken lower vibration energies? Yes. Okay. So it's intention. Got it. Well, would that be the same for for a psychedelic drug? Is intention? Would that make a difference? No. Okay. Again, some of you may have an experience with this and completely disagree. That's okay. That is okay. Just, you can disagree with kindness. Just offer what your experience is so other people can utilize your comments to decide for themselves. That's what we're all here to decide for ourselves about any of this stuff, not to argue about it, just to feel what's right and to give you some more information to look at the world a little differently, you know? Do psychedelics provide genuine spiritual insight rather than imagination? Wow, that's a really wide swing no. Do psychedelics provide genuine, is the experience all imagination? Yes. I can't wait to hear some of you who have done this to be like, what do you think about that? What do you think from your experience, that if you've done it, if you're willing to admit it? I don't know. Is it a bad thing to take psychedelics? I have no idea. Is it illegal? I have no idea. This is just not an area that I have any knowledge in. Again, just answering your questions. So, do psychedelics allow people to connect with beings or family members from beyond Earth? Yes. Does psychedelics allow people to connect with high vibration beings or family members from beyond Earth? Okay, they switched to no. So there's something about the vibration of this experience, and they switched to yes. There's something about the vibration. So, it's hard enough. It's hard enough that when we're trying to stay as high vibration as possible, right? Do we interact with angels and extraterrestrials while traveling in the astral plane? I'm going to have to separate that. They're saying yes. Do we interact with angels while traveling in the astral plane? No. Do we interact with extraterrestrials while traveling in the astral plane? Yes. I'm not even sure what the astral plane is. Is the astral plane just a higher dimension or a different dimension than than the 3D? Yes. I'm going to stop for a minute and tell you my favorite analogy about the dimensions. Okay, I've explained this in other videos, but I think it's worth covering. So right now in the Spirit Circle, we're about to, and yes, Spirit Circle members, practice and playground members, we will start our new book, and it will be the Earth Experiment. Okay. So I'll post the book below, you guys, if you want to take a look, but I haven't made the official announcement, and I will for the Spirit Circle members. But in the book, it's the best explanation of dimensions that I have ever heard. So you have a triangle, right? At the very top of the triangle, there is no separation. That is source. Then as you go down the triangle, you go down, let's just say, I don't know if this is like the 15th, 14th dimension up here. Then you go down, and the next, okay, let's just say it's the 14th. I haven't gotten a clear picture on that yet. I can't remember what that book said, but I've heard people say there's 15 dimensions, 14 dimensions, 13. I can't quite remember what this particular book says. And they're channeling Quan Yin. Ascended Master Quan Yin is the one giving the information. So at the very top is source, which makes sense. There's no separation, which means that's all love, right? As you go down to let's just say it's the 15th, the 14th, you can see you can see as you go to the next level, there's a little tiny separation from source. So there's polarity there, right? There's already polarity. Then as you keep going down, so the Ascended Master, she says, live in the 12th dimension. Okay. So if there's 15, I don't know, I think maybe she says 13 or 14. I think the Ascended Masters live right below source at the 13th dimension. Or at the 12th dimension. So maybe 13 is the top. And so they do have a little bit of polarity, but it's not much. It just, boom, it's gone. Like it's there, but I mean, they could experience it if they want to, but it's gone. So now go down to the 3rd dimension, right? We're like down here. That's how much, and look at the separation, how much polarity there is, right? And if you go down to the 1st dimension, that's the farthest polarity there is. I've heard somebody talk about that the animal kingdom is in the 2nd dimension and the plant kingdom's in the 1st dimension. I don't know if that's true. We could ask. But I wouldn't mind doing a full video on that triangle and on dimensions with that idea. So let's not ask those questions now, just for sake of like sticking to this topic. But isn't that an interesting way to think of dimensions? So when you think of heaven, all the different words people use, astral plane, galaxies, across the veil, all that kind of stuff, it's really just dimensions. So you're just going in dimensions. And in this book, it's so good, you guys. If you want to join us in the Spirit Circle, this is a good book to come in on. You always have all the other books we've read too, if you're in the practice or higher. So I'm so excited to read it together. I think we're just going to have so many good conversations about this. I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh, because Quan Yin talks about how we go from source, which we all have. We've all started at source, and how we have to descend each dimension in order to get to 3D physicality. In order to do that, there's a whole descension process that you have to go through to get to this dense. So we are in a very dense, and that's why I've heard people say like they're so impressed with humans who, in the other dimensions, they're very impressed with humans who decide to come to Earth and to have this, or spirits that decide to have this experience, because it's very dense. Now, if we're going up to the 5th dimension, now we're in the fourth. According to Quan Yin, we are in the fourth dimension. It happened on 12/21, so December 21st, 2012, which is kind of an interesting number if you look at those numbers. 3, 3, 20, 12. There's a 3 at the end of there too. That's interesting. 3 through 3. Okay, so we went into the fourth dimension. So we are actually in the fourth dimension. So we don't have, I mean, we just going for the fourth to the fifth. So that will help explain. It's really our elevation is just, we're just going to be more, we're going to have more love for humanity probably. You know, we're not going to be floating around, you know. We might have more psychic abilities though, naturally. I mean, we do have psychic abilities, but we might be able to access them easier. So, yes. So, lead team, just real one question. How Quan Yin explains dimensions and like across the veil and astral plane and all that, is it really just that simple in terms of the triangle and the dimensions? Yes. Now, doesn't that make sense? Like, for some reason, that really resonates with me. It might not resonate with you. If it doesn't, tell me why, because I don't know, for some reason, like, how else would you see that? Like, how does that not make sense to you? I would love to hear that, just so I have a different way of thinking about it. Okay, so lead team. Next question. Did humanity pull away from everyday spiritual awareness and shamanic traditions at a specific point in history? Yes. Was that source's intention that that would happen? No. Okay. Was that by lower vibration entities coming onto Earth that weren't human? Was that the intention of, was it their intention? Yes. Okay. So we've got these lower vibration entities that are not human on Earth, correct? Yes, that's a whole nother conversation. We've had a couple of them. So, okay. So they are responsible for manipulating humans to forget about this kind of stuff. Yes, and to kind of keep us trapped in the 3D, I'm assuming. You know, the real amnesia of the 3D. That's why they call this the Awakening. That's, you know, I joke because like 2 years ago, I thought being woke was like, well, I think being woke is people use it in different ways. But I thought it was just about, you know, not being prejudiced, you know, like understanding that everybody, regardless of skin color, regardless of where you were born, is a human being, a spirit having a human experience, and we should treat everybody with dignity, right? I mean, obviously, you know, people who act like dingleberries, you know, they're going to be treated the way they need to be treated, but to not look at somebody with just their skin color and, you know, and understanding white privilege too. It was always what I thought was a part of being woke. Now, I know the African American and Black community has their own way of looking at that. And if you are in that community, you can let us know about that. But so I don't know, that was where I was 2 years ago. I didn't even understand what awakening was. I guess I just never spent time thinking about it. So if you're where I'm at, like you're not that, I'm 57, so you're not that far. I've always been a spiritual being, very interested in spiritual conversations and reading books about spirituality, but I never really thought of anything as like the Great Awakening or, you know, humanity awakening or anything like that, you know. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I've always explored these topics for my whole life, basically. I've always had really deep conversations with a select group of people, you know, as I moved around, and, you know, I'd always find those people I could talk to about this kind of stuff. All right. Was there one primary event that caused humanity to lose its natural connection to the spirit world? One primary event. Yes. Well, what did that have to do with the fall of Atlantis? Yes. although it's not really strong. Lumeria too. Like, did it have to do with these other, they're kind of like, yeah, but maybe there's more. I don't quite know what to ask. That happens sometimes if I don't have enough knowledge. But so one primary event, there's really one primary event, huh? Yes. Oh, was the primary event, okay, well, let's just go to the Bible. Did the primary event have anything to do with Adam and Eve? No. Okay. Oh boy, we should do a whole, I'm going to write this down. We should do a whole video on Adam and Eve. I'm going to do a call out for questions because I'm quite fascinated about that. As I go through videos, I'll get an idea like that and put it on a notepad. And so then I do a post out every once in a while. I've got a couple out for this week on certain topics. You can ask your questions too. Okay, does the Lion's Gate portal, I've heard of the Lion's Gate, but I don't know much about it. The Lion's Gate portal have the potential to activate psychic abilities for some people? Yes. Is the Lion's Gate, yeah, I don't know much about it. We could do an entire video on the Lion's Gate if you guys are interested. Yes. Okay. All right. We've got four personal questions from community members. You will have to know if you ask this question. I don't have your handle next to these, but I love hearing the personal questions, and I hope other people do too, because you can just hear other people's experiences through this. Okay, so lead team, can you please tap into those who wrote these questions? Tap into their energy? Yes? Okay. So somebody wrote, as a child, I watched myself being devoured, oh boy, by a mountain lion. Later experienced astral projection and even felt myself floating through rooms. Wow. Were those genuine psychic experiences? Yes. Did they stop because everyday life took over? Yes. Did they stop because this person wasn't ready? No. Or did they stop because emotional pressure suppressed my abilities? Yes. So you can see how everyday life would maybe be similar to that. Emotional pressure. So it's just, yeah. I mean, your energy, your vibration, if you think of it this way, your vibration lowered. If you have emotional pressure, it lowers, your vibration lowers. So then it's harder to access, right? So this person said, should I have shared those experiences with someone? No. The question there with the word should probably is what they're responding to. So would it have been helpful if this person shared those experiences to help release, I don't know, maybe you felt scared about them or something like that. But so they're just saying yes. But you got devoured by a mountain lion. What the actual hell? Okay, I for some reason I'm picking up, and probably just it's my brain, my left brain. Was this person devoured by a mountain lion in a previous lifetime? Oh man, yes. So you were picking up, so they were picking up on a past life? Yes. Sorry that happened to you. I don't like it. I don't like that. That's icky. Okay, next question. My cousin and I have been using psilocybin and have experienced what seemed like past lives and outwardly beings. Uh-oh. Now that they just told you not to use it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't worry. Just follow your own intuition. Just take their input for whatever works for you. Okay, so this person wants to know, now lead team, be honest here. Don't be rude. Were those genuine spiritual experiences? Oh, I'm sorry. They're saying no, and that's but again, If this works for you, if it's a good experience for you and you feel like it raises your vibration, then keep doing what you're doing. This is all allegedly in entertainment purposes only, okay? I'm not here to tell you to do anything different with your life. Okay. The next question is, was the blue-skinned royal family she described, I don't know what that means, she described, it was probably in a different video, actually connected to this person who's asking this question? Yes. Okay, how do you know that? How do you know that this blue-skinned royal family is connected to you? I don't remember talking about a blue-skinned royal family. It doesn't mean I didn't, but I don't remember it. So they're saying yes. So there you go. Is that part of this person's soul family? Are they a part of the same soul family? Yes. And the last question is she truly here to help me remember who I am? And I don't know who that is, but yes. Whoever asked that question and who she is, I'm not sure, but she is there to help you remember who you are. Very cool. All right, you guys. Always, as always, let us know if you have any questions. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Trying to get up to, the next level, whatever that is. Does it really matter? Not a whole lot, but it's just a fun measurement. You know what I mean? So, and by commenting, liking, hyping, if that's still going on, that really helps get the videos out there. So, and grow the community. All right. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.